Hi, I'm Ruiz, author of California's Next Century 2.0 Economic Renaissance. What I'd like to do is talk about some of the things I've been giving speeches so far, up to 12 California cities. I'd like to show you what that looks like in a series of maps and graphics. The videos are online at YouTube. Here's another way to look at that same concept you'd seen in other speeches around the state. Please. So what I'm offering is half your taxes gone, half your bureaucracy gone, 100,000 new jobs, the state of California out of debt, a recession-proof economy always, and all political leaders a jump in quality. Plus roads, schools, dams, airports, seaports, from worst to best, and a recreation of a renaissance like you haven't seen since Venice, Italy. Here's a map of the current world. This is going to come into play. This is the new superpowers of the future. You'll notice here's China. This is China, but this is where the actual people live. India, Russia, actual population, Europe, Brazil, and America. These are the superpowers with both their actual populations and the full size of their border. These are the new players of the next 20 to 40 years, as I explained in the speech. There's going to be 7 superpowers, so the world will look different. In the past, the choice was between communism and democracy. Here's the communist countries, and the rest of the world was democracy and capitalism. But after people saw this stark comparison for 70 years, then communism fell. And what happened? Well, the world started to look at America as the only model. And basically now we have all countries with some form of democracy and capitalism. But here's the thing. Each country's version of democracy and capitalism is totally different. What happens in the future when there's not one, but 7 different versions of democratic capitalism? Which one's going to be the winning option when each one's different? In America, there's only one option. Think about that for a second. Take a look at the new superpowers, and what's happening is that these superpowers are forming their own trade blocs where they are owning that section of the world and banning all other superpowers. Think about what that means, just for a second. So, we've seen a situation like this before. 1914, lead up to World War I. Japan, Germany, Italy, new powers. They want a section of the piece of the pie, so they fight for it. And we have World War I and World War II. So what happens in the future when we have 5 new powers rising like we did in 1914? Well, this is what the world looked like when Japan and Germany were fighting for their piece of the pie of mostly European-controlled world. Now, the thing is that what kept world peace for a long time, as I've said in the speech, is a place called Switzerland, which was German, French, and Italian, and later on they picked up English. Because they were in the center of Europe, and because they spoke all these languages, they were the natural discussion nexus. As we can see, the Swiss have been for a very long time a polyglot of all the European peoples. They combined all of them together, and they made a perfect center for Europe when Europe ran the world. But now, Europe's only one of the superpowers. So where does the new center of the world go? I argue in the book, California's Next Century 2.0, that California is the only land, place, people area that can provide the role that Switzerland did in the last century, but for the needs of the new superpowers for the next century. If we did this, we'd have a whole new industry, we'd have a recession-proof economy, we'd help the world economies grow, we'd be out of debt, and we'd have a renaissance. There's a whole lot more reasons why California would also want to do it, but to see those, you'd have to look at the book. Thank you.